Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast. It's Pro Wrestling Weekly, the weekly show we bring you where we discuss all things pro wrestling. If you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, and of course, drop a like on the video. So important. I'm going to do a quick recap tonight of Wrestle Dream, so you can let me know your thoughts on Wrestle Dream. Also, let me know your thoughts on Raw. If you're saying it, we'll do a quick recap on Raw as well. So a few little bits to talk about as well. We're going to be talking a bit about Bobby Lashley. We're going to be talking about DX. Rhea Ripley not happy with the internet wrestling community at the moment. A little bit of an update on Vince McMahon and the cases. Going to talk about Undertaker, who was on a podcast. We're also going to be talking a little bit about Tony Khan and some of the challenges that have to be faced now in relation to creative control. In the chat, as always, Warren is there. Go on, Niall, give it a good drop kick. Absolutely. Cheers, Warren. Sean's in. Howdy, lad. Hope your week is going well, as mine has. Got off work for OTT. Bought a standing ticket for Pantera. That isn't three figures. And I'm gathering early stages of a costume for Halloween. What's the costume? Let us know what the costume is, Sean. And also, Sean is in for Tuesday. I'll have to see if I'm working, but hopefully be there. If there's any hassle with the time, and Sean, let me know. We can push it till later and stuff like that. There's no problem. But next Tuesday, we're going to be previewing OTT's 10th anniversary show to feature Finn Balor and JD McDonough and others to be announced as well. So we'll be going through. The two boys will be bringing you through the card. They'll be giving you their thoughts. We know already some of the matches are announced. We got the Social Elite versus Finn Balor and JD McDonough, which is very, very interesting. A little bit of history there, of course, with one member of the Social Elite. So we'll go through it all next Tuesday. Sure to be a really, really good show. And don't forget Thursday Tier Talk as well. Friday, I'll be doing a preview for the Chelsea game. That's this week's Super Sunday, as always. So plenty of content coming your way, as always. So let's start. Let's start with Wrestle Dream. Daz is in as well. Big up, Daz. Do you think Darby is next for Moxley? I think they're kind of teasing it that way, but I'm not too sure. It could be. Wrestle Dream. Wrestle Dream. Where do we begin with this? Stacked card. Kind of two boys in their kind of hometown. Although Meltzer doesn't think that being in Tacoma, Washington doesn't qualify for being hometown if you're from Aberdeen. We know there's a bit of a distance, but we had Bryan Danielson defending the AEW World Championship against Jon Moxley, and we also had Swerve addressing the crowd as well. We'll get into Swerve a little bit later because it's been released now, some updates in relation to Bobby Lashley, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. But let's go down through the card. We'll skip the main event for the moment, but Takeshita, Darren called it last week when he joined us on the show on Thursday because there was no Thursday Tier Talk. He thought Takeshita would pick up the International Championship, and how right he was. And it was fitting as well that he did it. I didn't think it would happen. I was quite surprised. I was also surprised at how much he was involved as well. I kind of expected this match to go in a certain way where the two boys would be doing their thing and Takeshita would be a byproduct of the triple threat, but it didn't turn out that way, and I'm glad I was wrong. I'm a big fan of Takeshita. Sean is in. Fred Durst. Nice. I like that. So what are you going with? You're going with a council jacket kind of thing and all that kind of stuff. Council jacket, bucket head, fake beard. Got to go with that fake beard. Get that beard in there as well. That'd be pretty cool. Need to see pictures of that one. Fair play. But yeah, big win for Takeshita picking up the International Championship, and probably needs to work on the pressers afterwards, doesn't he? It was kind of a little bit out of sync, really. Don Callis, of course, involved. Mariah May retaining against Willow Nightingale. I have to say, folks, every time I see Willow Nightingale wrestle, I get more and more impressed with her. I think she's really, really good. Big future in the business, that's for sure, and stuff like that. Mariah May is excellent as well. So yeah, really good, solid match from the girls. Jack Perry retaining against Shibata the TNT title. Again, no surprise on this, but were you happy? Were you happy with the match, or what did you think about it? Let me know what you thought. What's he going with? Red era fitted hat, eyeliner, beard, blonde hair dye, arm tattoo sleeves, Nike sweatbands, and maybe baggy navy dickies or chinos, and a pair of black and white runners. There you go. There you go. Red new era. Red new era hat. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Spot on. Spot on. Rolling, pumping in the background, of course. Well done. I like it. I like it. Tag match. Young Bucks versus Private Party. We're going to talk about this a little bit later in terms of the Young Bucks and stuff like that. I had said for a while that they had me a little bit more interested than I've been in a long, long time. But unfortunately, they revert to form, which causes a problem in terms of my interest. And we'll talk about a little bit later, because we're going to do a little section later on creative control in AEW. I was very happy to see Mark Briscoe picking up the win against Jericho. Really, really happy about that. Was pretty good. Hologram as well. I think picked up the win as well. 2 out of 3 falls. Darby Allin against Brody King. Wow, this is such a mismatch, isn't it? But Darby just finds a way, doesn't it? Sean's in again. He goes, there's a charity metal night in Cavan for the bank holiday, and dress up is optional, but I'm going as Fred, and my mate is going as Jonathan Davis and Korn. Nice. Absolutely. Daz is in. Motor City Machine Guns on SmackDown this week. Really looking forward to it. Really, really, really looking forward to it. Cannot wait. Ricochet was massively underused in WWE. Do you think, Morris? Do you think? I don't know. I just don't want to see the same stuff that I seen in the Super Juniors. I want to see something different. That's my problem. Also, then we rounded out Hangman Page. Jay White picking up the win against Hangman Page. Big win for Jay White. And then we had Swerve Strickland returned and addressed the crowd. Obviously, MVP there and Shelton Benjamin and all. My band that I tour with are playing, Sean, the Chop Sueys. Nice. They're playing at that gig, are they? They're playing at that bank holiday gig. Nice. I seen actually some of your videos the other day of them. Very, very good. Very good. Well, not my band, but they're under the Cheap Heat banner. Morris acting all diddy, huh? My band. My way or the highway, huh? My way or the highway. There you go. Fair play, Morris. Yeah, no, they're really good, actually, Morris. I like what I see. But yeah, then we Swerve addressing the crowd and stuff like that. And then, of course, we got news, of course. No baby oil, no Diddy oil, yeah. Then we got news, of course, breaking an update on Bobby Lashley. Most people expected Bobby Lashley to show up at Wrestle Dream, but the reason he didn't show up is they felt that the angle would be that he would have had to taken out Swerve Strickland, and what they didn't want was that on top of Bryan Danielson going out the way he did, that Swerve would have gone out in a similar fashion as well, and they didn't want both hometown boys going out that way. So so Bobby Lashley very, very close soon to appear and all that kind of stuff, but that probably wasn't the time. And to be honest, it's probably a good shout, to be honest. Danny Butler's band are playing at it, actually. Oh, very good. Very good. What's the name of Danny Butler's band, by the way, Sean? I looked them up and see. Yeah, I'll be at OTT, but I'm gigging the night before with them in Waterford. Nice. Very good. Right, let's get into Raw. Let's have our little Raw recap. The way we go through it and our look ahead as well. So Raw, let's run down through the results and then we can talk about aspects of it. WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defeated Damage Control. The War Raiders, my guys, the War Raiders defeated Alpha Academy in the World Tag Team title #1 contenders tournament. What a mouthful that is. We got Cody Rhodes and Gunther got into what's been known as an epic confrontation. Let me know what you thought of that confrontation. I find Cody Rhodes promos these days just so jarring. Really jarring. Braun Breaker defeated Kofi Kingston. And of course, Jey Uso saved the New Day as well, where Xavier Woods came down to see Kofi. He got upended by Braun as well. Then Jey got involved and took out Braun Breaker. Couple of super kicks and a spear, no less. A spear, no less. Pretty good. R-Truth defeated The Miz. And Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez ended in a no contest. Of course, Nia Jax got involved, taking everyone out, especially Liv Morgan doing a number on her, and summoned Tiffany Stratton to cash in the Money in the Bank to try and win the title. And as she was about to cash in, who makes the save? Only himself, Dominic Mysterio. Yeah, it is 2 hours. It is 2 hours, Sean, yeah. So let's see. Blood soaked. Oh, cool. I'll check them out. 2 hour Raw, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you, it flies by, lads. It flies by. Goldust brother isn't cutting the mustard. What did you make? Let me know, folks. What did you make of the promo last night? Let's get into talking about Raw. I thought the Judgment Day stuff with Raquel Rodriguez, I thought that was pretty cool. The sort of the clubhouse scene, and Carlito absolutely falling in love. I thought the JD stuff and the Balor stuff with Adam Pearce, I thought was really, really cool as well. JD is so good now, isn't he? He's really, really good. Strong showing from Bianca and Jade Cargill, but of course they were faced with two imposters who will come in to show up on Raw as well. We had Jimmy as well running around trying to convince Jay to join the posse, reform the Usos, get back to the bloodline, help out Roman. Jay was having none of it. Absolutely none of it. But my thinking is he probably will turn eventually and he will go with them. There's no doubt he's not going to leave them hanging. Kind of really cool, actually, to see Jimmy and Jay on our screens together again. And Jimmy really desperate to get this guy back on board. Especially like they've been apart too long, I think. Now I love the Usos. Gunther and Cody, I thought Gunther's very good. His delivery of his promo was excellent. Hits all the points nice and easily and stuff like that and all, and always has a little kind of trigger point there at the end that he drops as well. Cody, this kind of forced I'm a hard dude kind of thing. I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. Let me know, does it work for you guys? But Cody's promos, they're just kind of, I don't know, they're becoming a little bit jarring on me at this stage. I do like the confrontation, and it will be interesting to see how Crown Jewel goes. Are they in the UK as well next week? I think they are. I think they're there all. They were there this week, weren't they? Did I see clips from Liverpool? When's the Liverpool house show? Is it even tonight, maybe? I don't know, but I did see clips earlier of superstars arriving in Liverpool, meeting with some of the fans at the airport. And again, I have to say, fans were very mannerly with the superstars. There wasn't a million stuff being autographed. They were mainly taking pictures and all, and the wrestlers bought into it and stuff like that as well. So there was no major aggravation or anything like that, which I thought was really cool. So well done, Liverpool fans, on that as well. Yeah, they're the kind of main points. Seth, what do we think of Seth? Seth being back as his tractor being set on Bronson Reed. Sure to be a very good matchup as well. Really looking forward to it as well. Few matches for OTT, Finn and JD versus Social, Lemo versus Scotty Davis, Danny Cross versus Sammy D, Martina versus Raven Creed. Good to see Raven Creed back as well. And Angel Blanc versus Michael Oku. Yeah, we'll go through them all. Next Tuesday, we're going to do a preview for the show and all. The two Seans will be on and stuff like that, so should be interesting. But yeah, the matches are starting to stack out there now. And I heard from someone today as well, there might be a few more announcements as well. So hopefully they'll be announced before next week so we can discuss them as well. Danny Cross and Sammy D is an I Quit match. Martina and Raven for the title, and Oku on Punk is the money match. There we go. There we go. Save it. OTT next week. Let's keep it on here at the moment. A couple of matches announced, of course, for next week. We have an Intercontinental Championship, of course. Braun Breaker versus the champ, Jey Uso, main event. Yeet. And then we have a World Tag Team Championship #1 Contenders Tournament. You can see who's in there. We got the New Day. We got the Orders of Pain. We got Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. And we got American Made. Let me know who you think's coming out of that. Could be an interesting one. Orders of Pain. James, you're spot on. R-Truth is just quality, isn't he? He really is quality. Did you see at the start of the match and all trying to get Miz to do the dance and all and stuff like that? No, really, really, really good. So much time for R-Truth. Absolutely fantastic. Right, lads. I don't know how you felt about this. I got this the other day, and I have to say, I felt kind of old. 27 years ago. 27 years ago. Let that sit in. This week we had DX forming 27 years ago. Hands up in the audience who feels old. Morris, R-Truth is levels above Cody. He's just so good, isn't he? Just so good. He's just unbelievable. This pick made me think the reunion was 27 years ago. No, I just picked this one because I wanted to pick them kind of when they were looking at their coolest. And I do have a fondness for that DX Army shirt. The one with the tanks and all was pretty cool. Holy moly, I was 9 at the time. 9, Morris. 27 years ago, I would have been 35. Sorry, I would have been 25. 25. There you go. So I was at the peak of it when DX started. Missed it by 5 years, but thank God for the network. Yeah, James is in. No way, 27 years ago. I feel old as hell now. There you go, James. There you go. 27 years ago. 27. Wow, it's mad. Mad. Crazy stuff. What did we make of this, folks? Rhea Ripley, none too happy at all. On Twitter there the other day, posting screenshots of people wishing her to be injured and get injured. It's really, really bad, isn't it? Like, I mean, how, like, madness, isn't it, Sean? Yeah. Thank God for the network and DVDs. 100%. But I'm the bad person, literally wishing for me to get hurt and laughing about it. Maybe some of y'all should look in the mirror. And she posted screenshots of the people on what they were saying. That's really, really bad. Wishing injury on a wrestler. Wrestling is too academic for some on Twitter. It sure is. 100%. We also got a little update on Vince. Spokesperson for Janelle Grant says Vince McMahon lawsuit is a straight case where a woman was human trafficked. Not good. So we'll keep an eye on it as some more of this stuff comes out. I'd imagine as the federal case progresses and we start to see the back end of that, we'll start to see more of this stuff leaking out as some of these lawsuits begin to take hold. But yeah, not good. What'd you make as well? Undertaker, the godfather of the locker room. The Undertaker states that wrestling isn't about wrestling moves, it's about storytelling via the Hall of Fame podcast, of course, with Booker T and all. What did you make of this, folks? We spoke about this a lot. We spoke about it 100 times in relation that we would love more storytelling in AEW, not that kind of one-shot way of doing stuff, and that it's the storytelling. He went on to expand, talking about some of the moves that the guys are doing now. There's just no longevity in it and stuff like that. Where are we? I'm in talks with one of Janelle's legal team trying to get a show over the line. Probably have to wait. Would you be able to get one over the line prior to, or would it have to be after the lawsuit? And then what comes out of the lawsuit then, if the lawsuit ends up being something that's settled, but then you'd wonder if some of these lawsuits are going to happen if this federal case goes a certain way. Hard to know, but fair play, Morris. You're always on it. You're always on it for some of these things, and fair play to you, Sean. 100%, 100%. Taker is right on that one. The greedy cunt, yeah, absolutely. I had some Taker fans in the shop there last week, one of the days, and they're not too happy either with some of this pricing and stuff that's going on at the moment as well. Starting to catch hold. Yeah, she done one a few weeks back. Oh, did she? Oh, cool. Excellent. What was the detail like on it, Morris? Like, how detailed could she get? Or was it kind of like, I can't comment on this, I can't comment on that? Because we know some of the lawsuits have been kind of put on hold, haven't they, pending the federal case? So how detailed was she able to get? I wonder. Let me know, or if she did one a few, or send me on the link later, Morris. I'd love to have a look at it actually. That'd be pretty cool. I'll look up some of these bands and everything and stuff like that. What do you think of this? Creative control. This has come up as a topic this week. We know that a lot of the apart from the money side of things, AEW tends to promise talent that they are signing a lot of creative control. So a lot of wrestlers have gone in there with creative control. The books. I'm sure Ospreay, Moxley. I'm sure a lot of guys had it. So where does this lie with you, this creative control? And when you get into a situation like I said, I'd mention the Bucks match again, where you have the Bucks tag champs at the moment. If they have creative control, they literally don't have to lose the straps. They've gone through a number of matches now where the finish is basically the same. But what can you do if they have creative control? And how do you work around that? And when you have a locker room then that has a lot of parts in there, a lot of pieces of the show that have creative control, how do you bring a show together? A lot of talk coming out of the main event the other day, and we're going to talk about the main event in isolation. Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. Some would have thought that Bryan Danielson would have went out by, doing the job for a Darby Allin or someone like that, or someone coming through, and, the significance of that. But obviously, somewhere along the line, creative control drops in, and you have Jon Moxley takes the belt and goes out, and that's the finish and all that kind of stuff. How did you feel about the finish to the show? Was the finish to the show fitting for what might be the last show we seen Bryan Danielson wrestle on? How fitting was for that in basically his hometown? Let's not split hairs on it. What did you make of, obviously, Wheeler Yutta's turn? Obviously, Darby Allin there distraught along with Orange Cassidy. Let me know your thoughts on it, and let me know your thoughts on AEW, this creative control, and where does it lie? Like, where does it lie when you get maybe so much talent having creative control? And one we've seen, the one drawback at times from creative control is that you're not necessarily sense checking what the talent is deciding to do, and then you potentially get silly kind of decisions like Edge jumping off the top of a cage and practically breaking his leg. Whereas if that was in WWE and we said it at the time, that would be sense checked and that would be advised out of the match and stuff like that. That's not the thing to be doing at whatever 50 years of age or whatever it is at that stage in your career. And the payback off it just isn't worth it. So then we find a situation here in AEW where you get guys doing this thing and then they lose that talent, which is major talent for them in major storylines, and you lose that talent then for a number of months, half a year, maybe a year, whatever it is, at a time where ratings are suffering, where the ratings are really, really low. We seen it last week, the Dynamite rating compared to the WWE ones, and I think NXT ratings was higher than all of AEW's programming put together. So that's really, really low. And a lot of that is the fact that a lot of your top talent at times that you've signed is out injured. So it's no good to you. These guys are sitting at home. We've seen it with MJF. We've seen it with Edge. We've seen it with Mox. We've seen it with plenty of Eddie Kingston. We've seen it with lots of really important talent on that roster. Now sitting at home, injured, can't be used. and it really, really exposes the brand then, So I think they really need to be really creative. And I think at this stage, I said, Tony needs to, he needs to take the lead on this, and he needs to rein some of that creative control back in and wrestle it back a little bit. But then if you're perceived to be doing that as well, then what happens with other talent you might want to bring in? Like if you're bringing in, say, a Bobby Lashley, he would probably, what would be appealing to him is the money probably takes care of itself. The issue is how much creative control he has over his character. And it's that what gets him across the line. It was a major issue with Ricochet, if we remember. He wasn't happy in the way he was being used in WWE. Came over to AEW. I'm sure he was promised creative control for his character and stuff like that. And that's probably what got him to step over the line. Who knows? Let me know your thoughts in the comments anyway. What do you think? James is in. I agree with you, man. AEW need better storylines because it's just nothing there to kind of keep you interested. I'm hoping the Jon Moxley story gets better. Yeah, and I suppose one side of this you could turn around and say Daniel Bryan has kind of completed the Shield, if you like, because we had Seth Rollins beating him on Raw. We had Roman Reigns beating him on SmackDown. And then we've had Jon Moxley beating him on AEW. So from that point of view, that whole Shield connection there, he's had feuds with all these guys and stuff like that. But you think of Daniel Bryan's career, or Bryan Danielson's career, I should say, going all the way back to that King of the Indies show and stuff like that, now way back, which was the forerunner really for Ring of Honor. And then you think of all the glory he created in Ring of Honor and how important he was. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and all these other promotions and stuff like that he was so important to. Such an unbelievable wrestler, has everything in his locker. We remember him obviously in WWE as well, coming in and attacking Justin Robertson, and Justin Roberts, and choking him out and stuff like that, and then getting fired and getting rehired. And then it was mad, kind of like when people were emptying out in the building. Justin Roberts was making an announcement and he got booed out of the building. So it was kind of that little connection there as well, which was very interesting as well. And I'm sure it wasn't planned. I'm sure it was just kind of superficial, really, but it's kind of weird to see it and stuff like that. But Bryan Danielson, he's been up there for so many years, so many moments. We remember the Yes Movement. We remember Team Hell No. We remember the stuff with The Miz. So much stuff going on. Of course, being in WWE, met his beautiful wife there, Brie Bella, and all, and family and kids and all that kind of stuff and all. And he's really been that guy that's really, has gone against the grain of the system. He really gave hope to a lot of guys, being the smaller guy and stuff like that, but so technical. And his career has spanned so long as well. And, how would you pick out the highlights of his career and stuff like that? That time when he won the belt, that Yes Movement when it took off, and to see a whole stadium doing it was incredible. Unbelievable. But then there's obviously been some lows along the way as well, some injuries, all that kind of stuff, and some weird booking as well at times and all. But a phenomenal athlete, an unbelievable wrestler, has it all, has wrestled everyone the length and breadth of the world, has made adjustments to his style when needed, has been able to have a 5-star match with everyone he climbs through the ropes with, and really, really set the scene on the indie scene for guys and showed them that you didn't have to be this big, huge bodybuilder type of guy, if you like, and stuff like that, that you could create that niche in the business for yourself, even as a small guy, and put those matches together and make yourself climb to the top of the mountain. And certainly you showed that. And the other night was it was quite poignant in the way he went out, because they really did a number on him, in a way of kind of nearly making sure kind of that he never comes back. But yeah, Bryan Danielson, what a career he's had, and what an advocate for wrestling, and an unbelievable human being as well, to be honest. Always has a lot of time for everyone, and has such a good nature about himself as well and stuff like that. And also really, really interesting to see what happens now in this kind of semi-retirement, if you want to call it, or whatever it is. But Bryan Danielson, I said it at the last pay-per-view with Nigel McGuinness and stuff like that. And I went back and I looked at some of the Ring of Honor stuff. Some of the stuff he put out there and all, he's absolutely exceptional. His work is so crisp and, puts 200% into everything that he does. And doesn't matter what he's working. If you go back and even look at how entertaining the stuff with time was, and I'm sure that kind of stuff was tough for him as well to put together and stuff like that and also. But yeah, absolutely, Bryan Danielson, we wish you well in your retirement and whatever guise it is. We also want to talk, folks, about The Rock. What did you make of The Rock the other day? We seen Dave Meltzer reporting that The Rock wouldn't be appearing at WrestleMania 41, or wasn't scheduled to appear at WrestleMania 41, and this absolutely set the internet alight. Obviously, the timing couldn't have been worse, and everyone was kind of thinking, well, why come out of Bad Blood and give it the 1, 2, 3? And then we're literally going into the week. Remember, WrestleMania tickets go on sale, pre-sale next Wednesday, not tomorrow, next Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday's the official sale. So the timing couldn't have been worse than putting something like this out. But The Rock reacted straight away, and only the way The Rock can. And he turned around and he says, don't believe any of that bullshit, basically, So he absolutely put it out there, because I don't know about you guys, but I was originally thinking that maybe he showed up a Bad Blood and maybe they sat down with him and they laid out what they wanted to do. And I was thinking, maybe he looked at it and he said, I ain't been a part of that bullshit. And he said he ain't going to be there or something like that. But there is no doubt the greatest show in the world, WrestleMania 41, is coming to Vegas, and The Rock will 100% be in town. No doubt about it. That is it. Full Gear should be a good card. Also, Battle of the Belts weekend. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And Eno saying, big up Eno. Good to see you, man, on the chat. Fair play. We're almost finished then. I'm just about to go through history, to be honest. I'm almost done. You're in late. I wanted to ask you guys this as well. Wrestling News posted this today. Big shout out to Wrestling News on Twitter. They always post up some really good stuff. Agree or disagree in the chat, folks. The WWE Hall of Fame should be decided by fan voting. Yeah, we don't want them to see. My thoughts on triple threat matches. So I don't like triple threat matches at all. You heard my talk last week about the Ospreay, Ricochet, and Takeshita match. I was concerned about that as well. So yeah, absolutely not. But it will be interesting to see what way it is lined up. What's your feeling on this? No, disagree. Okay, tell me why. Tell me why. I suppose the craziness at times within the fan base would say that, like, you'd probably get a certain cohort of people. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be talking next Tuesday, and we're going to be talking OTT. We're going to be doing a preview for the 10th anniversary show. They would vote like Cody into the Hall of Fame. I was thinking more, Morris, how would they handle the likes of, maybe a Chris Benoit or something like that, because you could see there's a cohort there that would potentially do that as well. But obviously, how different do you think it would be? I mean, obviously, if the fans were voting, I think there's a huge amount of people who are in the Hall of Fame wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. And I think probably some that we've missed along the way would probably be in there already. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they would handle it, and I don't know how they would be able to construct it and stuff like that and all, It's very kind of like Cyber Sunday or Taboo Tuesday, isn't it? Kind of thing, this voting stuff, But I don't know. I think what they could do, do you know what would be really cool if they did it? What they could do is they could have the Hall of Fame the way they normally have it, and then they could have the fan vote entry into the Hall of Fame. So you get to pick one, and that one would be not the obvious one, like if Bray is potentially going to go in this year, or Sid, or Lex, or whatever it is. If you're voting for that one, obviously that gets kicked to the side if they're already involved. But they should maybe have one entry every year that's fan voted. How would you feel about that? How would you feel about that in the chat? Fans vote for Hall of Fame entries. How would you feel about it? This is only a suggestion. Do you agree or disagree? But I think I'd like to see maybe one entry go in. Like, the way the they do the Warrior Award and the Conor the Crusher one, all that kind of stuff. Maybe they could have one entry that goes into the Hall of Fame that's fan voted for one spot. Yeah, instead of the whole thing, for one spot, they have a fan voted entry into the Hall of Fame. That'd be pretty cool, I think. That was my thoughts on it today when I seen it. But big shout out to Wrestling News. Really, really cool and a great idea. Shannon James Dick. There you go. I'll post a card for Dynamite in a bit, Niall. Brilliant, Daz. Appreciate it, my friend. Appreciate it, my friend. Right, let's get into some history for you. Time to hit the history as we always do. 19, we got a nice blend here as well. Got a bunch of birthdays this week as well, because last week was really, really light. So we have a bunch of birthdays this week for you that you'll be interested in. So we start back 1995. WWE Intercontinental Champion Shawn Michaels was assaulted outside a nightclub in Syracuse, New York. 2005, Bryan Danielson retained the ROH World Heavyweight title against Austin Aries in the main event of ROH Enter the Dragon from Wilmington, Ohio. I had to include some of this stuff this week, the week that's in it. 2007, Sting won the TNA World Heavyweight title from Kurt Angle in the main event of TNA Bound for Glory 2007. A sad one that we'll all remember here, and especially any of you guys who are OTT fans. 2020, British wrestling star Ryan Smile passed away aged 31. The Birmingham-born wrestler lost his battle with mental health. Very, very sad. I got to see Ryan perform on so many shows for OTT and other shows as well. A phenomenal talent, a phenomenal wrestler. And very, very sad when news of that came across. Kevo was only in with me there a couple of months back and stuff like that, and we were talking about it as well, how hard it hit people. Very, very sad. 2003, the patriarch of the Hart family and founder of Stampede Wrestling, Stu Hart, passed away from heart failure in Calgary. 2018, WWE SmackDown Live celebrated its 1000th edition from Washington, D.C. and featured a reunion between all of the members of Evolution. Not too bad at all. Love a good Evolution, don't you? A good Evolution there. Reunion. 2012, at the TNA Impact taping in Orlando, James Storm defeated Kurt Angle to win his first TNA World Heavyweight title. James Storm, who recently was over for Fight Factory Pro Wrestling, we had him in the shop as well for a meet and greet, an absolute gent. And a deceivingly big man. His back was big guy. Gave me a hard time as well. I had drinks on the table and I had no alcohol. And he gave me a hard time. Trust me. 2018, at an NXT tape in a Full Sail University, Orlando, Florida, Matt Riddle had his first match in a WWE ring. One that really hit me hard, folks. 2003, this week, Road Warrior Hawk passed away from heart failure in Indiana Rocks Beach in Florida. My guys, the Road Warriors, always and forever. Always and forever. 2000, WCW released Bret Hart almost exactly 3 years after signing with the company. Hart was suffering from post-concussion syndrome as a result of an injury caused by Bill Goldberg. Hart announced his retirement soon after. Terrible time for Bret Hart at the time and all. 2007, on the UFC 77 pay-per-view, Brock Lesnar is announced as the latest signee for UFC's heavyweight division. The rest of that is history. 2010, Nigel McGuinness signs for TNA Wrestling. Before his debut, he was renamed, of course, Desmond Wolfe. Shortly, didn't have a long stretch in there before he had to end up retiring. But yeah, unbelievable wrestler, Nigel McGuinness. Where are we? Any Kane history? No Kane history this week. I'd say HY in the club. I would imagine so. Big heavenly shout to Ryan Smile until we meet down the road, fella. Yeah, absolutely. Keith, big up, Keith. What's the crack, Niall? I got to meet Mick Foley at Comic-Con. Really nice guy. James Storm has unannounced match at Comic-Con as well, which was pretty cool. He's a legend, James Storm. And of course, the World of Sport Road Warriors. There we go. Notable birthdays for the week that's in it. It's 1979, Stacy Keibler. 1952, Don Spivey. Nikolai Volkov, 1947. 1983, Kenny Omega. Tony Storm, 1995. 1946, the great Kendo Nagasaki. Chavo Guerrero Jr., 1970. And we rounded out with Razor Ramon, 1958, Scott Hall. They're your notable birthdays for this week. Niall, can you tell the sunglasses story with the famous wrestler Cracker? Oh, the one about the one about Y2J. The one about Y2J. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I collected them to come up for a signing to the shop. And he had done a gig in Belfast the night before, and apparently that night he had lost either 3 or 4 pairs of sunglasses. And I think he suffers from a light condition with his eyes or something like that. That's why he wears the sunglasses. And he went into the sunglasses hood in the center, as you well know, downstairs, not there anymore, to buy some pairs of sunglasses. So I was waiting outside. So he kept on inviting me in to look at the sunglasses and stuff like that and all, and I dropped a beautiful line on him, I got the feeling that at one stage I was maybe potentially picking up the tab for these. And of course, he wasn't looking at cheap sunglasses. They were about 150 quid to 200 quid a pop. And I think he had either 2 or 3 sets in his hand. And he called me in to have a look at them. And I said, listen, there's no point in asking my opinion on sunglasses. I live in Ireland and it rains here all the time, so there's no point. And that was the end of that conversation. So he picked up the sunglasses himself. Yeah, it was cool. But that's how I got out of that one. But I did feel like I was being kind of reeled in, so I had to be a little bit careful. But there you go. There's the story. Now it's out there. Aces is in. Wrestle Dream was great pay-per-view. You enjoyed it, did you? How did you feel about Bryan Danielson? Tough. Was that back in 2004 when that happened, when we got to meet him at your shop? I don't think it was 04, was it? I think it was 05, wasn't it? It wasn't 05, but it was the second time. It wasn't the first time, it was the second time. Because he wasn't in great form either. But that's a story for another time why he wasn't in good form either. I won't give that out quite yet. That's for when I retire and I do a little bit of a shoot interview, maybe on Morris's channel or something like that. We'll have a few nuggets, and that's one of those nuggets. And it was nothing to do with him being hungover. It was more to do with TMZ, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything else. Go look it up. Go look it up, and you will see. You know what I'm talking about. Acers was always going to happen because Daniel Bryan badly needs neck surgery immediately. Absolutely, and thank God he's away from the wrestling now to get his neck surgery, heal up, and do whatever he wants to do. Last thing we need is another bad accident like that. Don't agree with that plastic bag over the head. That's twice they've done it now. I tell you, it was shocking when Wheeler Yuta did it, wasn't it? That was really shocking. I didn't see that coming. Morris, how I remember now. Morris, we know it, don't we? We know it. He was in bad form. Gave me a hard time about the seatbelt in the car because it was buzzing because he hadn't put it on and all, there was all sorts going on. Would you ever get any wrestlers back in your shop again, or is it too expensive to bother with them? I haven't really thought about it, really. You know what I mean? The problem that I have is wrestlers tend to be in town the day of shows, and the day of shows tends to be our busiest days of the year. So I can't really shut down a shop on the day of a show when people want to buy so much merchandise, because it's just a double-edged sword. Because one, you're paying wrestlers to come in, do a signing, and two, you're not selling any merchandise because your shop is basically closed. So it's just a little bit awkward. I mean, we do have wrestlers drop in from time to time. You've seen Edge and Beth Phoenix have dropped in. Becky tends to drop in. I don't know, maybe the two boys might drop in next week while they're over or something like that. We shall see. And also, Blue Meanie was there just over a week ago with his beautiful new wife. They were over on their honeymoon. So we'll see what happens. AW Championship Triple Threat match of the night was very good. Very, very good. I still... How do you feel about this, Acers? You know when he does that spot where he leaps up and he drops you on the crown of your head and then they both do it to each other? That will put shivers down me when they do that. It just wouldn't take much to go wrong. Did Jericho have 101 list in sunglasses shop? No, not quite. Not quite, but wasn't far off it. Wasn't far off it. Meanie seems a nice dude, loves Ireland. He is an absolute gent. You will be hard pressed to find a nicer guy than the Blue Meanie, I have to say. Brian, he's just a gentleman at every level and stuff like that. Absolute great guy. Great guy. Do you think The Rock will be involved in the War Games match? I would have thought so. I would have thought so. Be very surprised if he wasn't. I think he's going to kind of slow play it in a lot of stuff all the way in the build up to Mania and stuff like that. Be interesting to see how this War Games match pans out as well and what's it going to look like and stuff like that. Shawnee Duffy's in. Do you sell any AEW gear? We do from time to time have some stuff in. That's for sure. Absolutely. Let us know as well if you're looking for stuff. Just hit us up on Instagram. Wrestling Mania Dublin, all one word on Instagram. If there's something you're looking for, we can try and sort it out for you. Going to show on the 16th of November, $5 a ticket. Anyone on it does that we know, or is local stuff? Rock will turn on Roman Reigns during War Games. Do we still see Cody, folks? Do we still see Cody keeping the belt all the way to Mania? Are we struggling? A lot of people seem to be struggling with it, don't they? He has it in the reduce the clear section. That's awful. That's awful, Morris. It's awful. It's in the local stuff. Big up, Daz. Local stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Yes, unfortunately. A lot of people aren't happy with this, aren't they? There's a lot of people at the moment going in on this Cody situation at the moment. They're just fed up. Fed up. It seems to be kind of the repetitive same type of stick, doesn't it? Like, I love his entrance and all. His entrance and all is cool. But tell me, what did you think of Raw? Did you see the promo? What did you think of it? I mean, myself and Morris, you weren't on your own either. We both called it, didn't we? Be careful what you wish for, because now you're going to get it. And then when you get it, we called it. And we said 8 weeks later, you're not going to want it. This is kind of how it felt, isn't it? This is kind of how it felt. Shawnee, I think he will have it till Mania. It's going to be a long run into Mania, folks, isn't it? What do we make Kevin Owens? Kevin Owens obviously attacking Randy and attacking Cody and stuff like that. Could you envisage a situation where they put the belt on Kevin and then the belt goes from Kevin to Randy and Randy is the champ going into Mania? What way does this all lie? Are WWE listening at all? Are they seeing what's going out there? That's where Roman Reigns regains the WWE Championship. It's going to be a long one, isn't it? I actually like Cody, but since AEW, not that much of a big fan. Yeah, it's a hard one to call. Like, I'm not saying like I'm not a fan. I'm just saying that position that's in now, a lot of it is kind of rinse and repeat and repetitive, and it's a little bit jarring. And a lot of what's happening as well, you know, like going back having that match, you know, that match last week or whatever it was with Roman and all that as his tag partner and all that. And I don't know, it just seems weird when you think of their history, that 2-year bucket of them, you know, the 2 Mania matches and everything else and all, and what he had to go through to have that match against Roman to then just suddenly be tagging with him, you know, it's weird. Weird. I heard rumors he might drop it at the first episode of Raw on Netflix. I heard it's supposed to be The Rock versus Cody because Triple H wants a huge match to kick off Netflix. Can you imagine the Cody crybaby meltdown if that was to happen? But imagine they did drop it to Rock. And imagine going into Mania. Imagine we get Rock Cena. Rock Cena would be class at Mania, wouldn't it? Who wouldn't want that? Raw was a tape show from last week. Yeah, seen that. Owens versus Orton, Crown Jewel. Interesting. We've seen this with John Cena, but Cody doesn't have the personality. Heel turn will work, though. It did for Roman. It did for Roman, but you got to remember, Roman had that nugget of Paul Heyman as well. You know, and that's the interesting one. Arun's in. How are you, my friend? Filament WWE shows. Will SmackDown versus Raw 2007 get a remaster? I have absolutely no idea. No idea, my friend. I didn't even see anything on it. Let me know if you've heard that. Brian Panties match announced for Crown Jewel. Don't think so. Triple threat match: Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns versus The Rock, WrestleMania 41 night 2. Oh, I don't know. Are they going to be able to roll Cody all that distance? Guys, we're only in October. And Mania's late, isn't it? It's third week in April. Man, that's going to be a long, long time. A long, long time. Elimination Chamber is going to Canada now. Tornado. Do you think Seth has a match Crown Jewel? I would have thought so. I would have thought we're probably going to get Seth Bronson Reed, are we? I would have thought so. What do you expect? It's Kevin Owens. He's just having a moment. I don't know. I like Kevin Owens. Yeah, Acer's in. Can't wait for Motor City Machine Guns debut on SmackDown. Yes, absolutely. That's going to be awesome. Are they going to be the ones? Are they going to be interesting to see? What are they going to do with the tag belts? I'd love to see the Machine Guns versus JD and Balor. That would be class. A lot of history there as well. A lot of history. Keith, do you ever see a WWE show pay-per-view happening in Ireland in the next 5 years? I think we will get one. I think we'll get a PLE. I think there's too much Irish contingent in there in WWE, and they know the fan base here through OTT and everything else, and through the shows that they do and all, is absolutely huge, and it would be massive and stuff like that. Could get a clash at the castle, you know, or something like that. That would be really, really cool. I'd be well in for that. But I think we definitely will. We definitely will. Cody will be back doing shows in Dallas shortly. Morris. Trading places match in Crown Jewel. Can you imagine? Oh, God. NXT Halloween Havoc pay-per-view on Sunday week. Yeah, look forward to that, actually. NXT is so good at the moment, isn't it? And like the way they do things is just like that DX segment was just like they just have it to a T, don't they? They have it to a T. I love Kevin Owens. What a match he had with Austin and Dallas. Never forget it. Yeah, it was quality, Morris, wasn't it? Absolute quality. And just he was so good as well. Did that match really show the talent of Kevin Owens and how and even Austin afterwards said how good Kevin Owens was and that. Yeah, they're not necessarily calling them takeovers, but they are doing live premium events and stuff like that. And NXT is quality at the moment. I think the Aviva Stadium would be ideal. Yeah, it would. The Aviva would be absolutely cool. War Raiders will defeat Mike Nugget and Fergal. Interesting. Retro NXT. Yeah. The black and gold. Bobby Lashley debut on Dynamite on Wednesday night. Really? This drives me mad. This is the thing they do on AEW. It drives me mad. You bring in a guy, you're trying to put him out there as a big signing and all the rest of it, and you drop him on Wednesday night on Dynamite. Why? Hold off. Have Swerve attack backstage or something like that. Lay down. Mystery attacker. We know it's Bobby Lashley, and let Bobby Lashley rock up on one of the bigger events and stuff like that. Be throwing him out there on Dynamite, for God's sake. Why would people do that? That's just silly. Ethan Page's quality as a heel. He is, isn't he? He's fantastic. Lashley versus Swerve Strickland at Full Gear. Yeah, but let's run it all the way up to Full Gear and give us a bit of a storyline, stuff like that. Let this Hurt Syndicate or whatever it is, let them turn on Swerve. Swerve gets attacked all the way up. Swerve's in the ring. Who's coming out? Lashley's music hits. Boom, out comes Lashley. Why would you throw that away on a Dynamite? It's bewildering to me. Bewildering. Imagine WWE drop McGregor and The Rock promo on the first Netflix show. Can you imagine? Gregor's on a mad one at the moment, isn't he? Nope, not really hyped. There we go. MJF versus Adam Cole Full Gear. That's one I can buy into. Good to see Adam Cole back as well. MJF electric as always. Never misses a beat as well. And it's really important that you recognize that as well, because when you're out for a period of time, the business can pass you by. You know what I mean? So it's really, really important that when you do come back in, that you take up where you left off and stuff like that, So that's pretty good. MJF versus the devil. Let's go. All for it. In fact, Connor on a PLE in Dublin be class too. It would, wouldn't it? And he's going to rock up and he's going to get involved, isn't he? It is Riyadh season, as they say. Retro NXT in the 80s in new generation era. Darby Allin versus Moxley Full Gear. Is that what they're going with? Are they going with Darby versus Mox? Is that the next one? See, I think they should hold off on that a bit. I think they should hold off on that and make it a little bit sort of, build it out for us. You know what I mean? Don't just go, right, here's your next serving. You know what I mean? Generate a one for it. Fantastic that Zack Sabre Jr. won the IWGP Championship yesterday. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Zack Sabre Jr. We just spoke about Bryan Danielson and we spoke about technical wrestling and all that kind of stuff. Zack Sabre Jr., folks. Well, absolutely delighted for him. And they don't put that belt just on anyone. MJF is too good to pass up the chance to sign with WWE. See, this is where this creative control argument comes into play then. MJF could go one of two ways. MJF could go into WWE, he could light it up, it could be awesome. Or MJF could just get lost in the mix. And that's the problem, because WWE at the moment is really, really on top of its game. Really on top of its game. So be interesting to see. Old school Raw's War venue and to be loved by Papa Roach. Yeah. Tell you, some throwbacks there are around, some throwbacks at the moment. Tanahashi to retire at Wrestle Kingdom on January the 4th. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what a career he's had. What a career. I have a figure around here somewhere, actually. Absolutely awesome. Unbelievable. Wish him well in his retirement as well. What a career he's had. Absolutely fabulous. Did you know that the $1 Million Man originated the coffin drop back in the day? I didn't, but I'm glad you informed me of it. Right, folks, that's pretty much it. We've pretty much covered everything for this week. Like I said, next Tuesday we will be back with a preview for OTT. So whoever wants to chime in on that, myself and the two Seans, hopefully will be on your screen. We'll be going through the matches that are laid out. We'll be going through everything that's on offer for OTT. We'll also bring you any news and recap of Raw. We'll give you all the usual show as well. But mainly we will be focusing, the body of it will be on OTT. 10th anniversary show, 10 years strong. Seen a video today from Foxy as well talking about it, being 10 years in. I remember the first show. I remember Joe coming in to me, talking to me about the first show he was going to do and stuff like that. And I remember how nervous he was putting it together and all this kind of thing and stuff. And I just told him, I said, go for it. Just go for it. But absolutely, absolutely fantastic. And very happy for everyone associated with OTT. Huge success there. 10 years strong. Who would have known? 10 years strong. What do you think of Taker's comments about wrestlers today not taking their character seriously enough? I was saying that we were talking about it earlier, Keith, before you came in, and he was also talking about the lack of storytelling and all these moves and everything else and all that kind of stuff now, Yeah, so it was an interesting interview and stuff like that. But it's kind of like, you kind of listen to that and then you go back and you look and you think, look at Taker taking all those crazy dives to the outside. I witnessed the one at Mania 25 where he damn near broke his neck and nearly killed himself. Snuka Sun got fired afterwards as he was the cameraman. So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you can talk like that and say, listen, all these moves they're doing now, but listen, there was no shortage of moves back then either. Some crazy stuff, So I don't know. It's hard to know, but obviously with Taker, there was always a storyline and there was always a build-up and stuff like that. So we get it on the storyline stuff, and it's been a huge topic on this show, basically talking about the Dynamites week on week. They feel like at times standalone shows, and then just as you get to the premium event, and then they do a build into it and stuff like that. But I think if they could follow the TV, you know, and just bring it along. Talk of Dynamite as well, potentially going to 3 hours. Maybe that might help it because maybe you might have more time to work that kind of stuff in. At times, it just feels a little bit rushed as well. But let me know. Happy days. We are now over and out, folks. We certainly are. NXT Halloween Havoc preview. Yeah, we'll definitely touch on that as well, as we always do. Old school SmackDown used SD Fist. Was he talking about his dynamic pricing? We don't like that pricing list at all, Morris. We don't. Brock Lesnar returning during Royal Rumble match. Interesting. Can you get Jamie on for Crown preview or War Games? I definitely will. I'll hit him up. I know he hadn't been doing a bit for a while. He was feeling under the weather and family stuff and all. So, but I seen he's back at it in the last week or so. So, yeah, definitely I'll hit him up to come on. We'll do something for Crown Jewel and stuff like that. Remember when Vince said he was going to take his wife for a bike? Oh, Jesus. Good Lord. Good Lord. And back then when we seen it, we just thought, oh, yeah. Now you could nearly think, did he mean it? You know, crazy. WWE teasing Gunther versus Goldberg on Saturday night main event in December. Yeah, I don't know. That Saudi crowd love Goldberg. They're all big Goldberg fans over there, aren't they? So who knows what could happen in this Crown Jewel that's coming up. Should be interesting. But sounds like Goldberg wants one more go and stuff like that. Sarah Mint. Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. Right, folks, until next time, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button and drop a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Make sure as well you're subbing to all the channels as well. Morris's is there and whoever else has dropped in as well. Make sure you hit up all the channels and giving them a follow. I do the same, absolutely. What's a crack, Henry? Good seeing my friend. Just about to finish up. DDP stalker gimmick. Yeah, man, crazy stuff. Some of the stuff it's mad just kind of goes, doesn't it? And it doesn't get spoke about and stuff like that. But listen, folks, have a great week. I'll see you back on our screens on Thursday with Darren for Thursday Tier Talk. Friday we'll have a preview for the Liverpool-Chelsea game, the Super Sunday. 4:30 on your screens. Huge game for Arne Slot. Proper test, as they say. They've been talking about us coasting so far. Let's see what happens. Night to everyone. Night, Morris. Thank you very much. Night to everyone else. Make sure you're subbing to Henry's channel as well, folks. He just dropped in there as well. Coming up on 1 year now. Second time around, as they say. So make sure you're subbing. I believe there's going to be a party stream or something like that to celebrate it. So make sure you're giving them all the support you can. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Cheers, folks.